morning, everyone. Thanks for coming in. My name is Bobby Michelson. I'm the CFO with INLB Labs Corp. As you can see, we're the first vertically integrated cannabis franchise. So definitely a different model to most in the cannabis space. Here's the most important slide of the day that everybody should read very heavily. We've all seen a million of them. We know what it says. Can't really rely on anything I say today. And so we'll be talking about forward-looking statements. Things will be based on the best of our knowledge and estimates on a go-forward basis. Can I ask a real quick question, because this will kind of dictate some things. Who in here has exposure, investment exposure in the cannabis space right now? Okay, so there's a reason for me asking that. So INLB Labs Corp, real quick at a glance, we're founded in 2017, went public through a reverse merger in 2018, went SEC fully reporting in 2019, and graduated to the OTCQX in 2020. Historically, our revenues have increased dramatically over the last few years, and all of that is organic growth in one market. So we've kind of honed in on how we're doing things there for our legacy business, and now we're going to move forward into other markets rather quickly. We've sold about 2.5 million packaged goods sold so far in our time. We have 54 acres zoned and approved for cannabis cultivation and production in Arizona and Nevada. We just secured last summer. We secured a $19 million credit facility to expand those facilities, and it's currently under construction now. Last year, about a year ago, in March, we closed on a deal with Unity Road. Unity Road is a dispensary franchise group, and so that'll be the leading force in our continued expansion. 200 years of combined experience in cannabis and franchising. We'll call it legal cannabis and franchising, 200 plus years. Significantly more than that if you count the illicit market, I'm sure, if you talk to some of our early employees. We've got about 20 plus groups that we've signed agreements with to open stores, slated to open about 45 stores over the course of time with while they're still all in licensing. And we have franchise development in 10 different states right now, and more coming online every day, really. So, real quick snapshot of where we are in the market. About 95 million shares outstanding. They closed yesterday at $112.50, so about $106 million market cap, trading about 17,000 shares a day. I think we all know, those especially with cannabis exposure, you know how volatile the cannabis market's been in the last 12 to 15 months. So we've had a significant fluctuation in market over the last year or 15 months. So when I mentioned earlier that we've had significant increases in our revenue, substantially all of this is one market and all organic. So that's what we've been able to do over the course of 3 years. And it's trailing 12 months as of December. So really gone from, about 5 to about 10 to 25 million in trailing 12 months. The adjusted EBITDA numbers had been increasing, but again, we brought in a whole nother business line this time last year. So that has depressed the adjusted EBITDA a little bit as we're building that franchise network. And we currently have an offering open right now. It's a Reg A offering, and we'll use that to accelerate all of our expansion of Unity Road, really expand the franchise footprint through an acquisition strategy where we will essentially buy dispensaries and flip them off to our current franchisees. Because all of them would like to get in, but they want a turnkey solution. So unit price is $1.40, 50% warrant coverage, exercise at $2. Anybody want to take a look? It's at keepcannabislocal.com. And I do per my attorney's request, I've got offering statements available for anybody to grab if they need. If not, of course, they can get them online. So here's the reason why I was asking who has exposure to cannabis right now, because I want to get into a little bit of why cannabis. So here's the current U.S. legalization landscape. All the blue states are medical only. All the green states are adult use recreational. And then the handful, we'll call it, 10 gray states, there's no cannabis in. The landscape has changed significantly over the last few years. Currently, 75% of polled adults think cannabis should be legal for medicinal purposes. And I believe it's like 60 to 65, I think it's like 63% believe it should be legal for recreational use for adults. So the tube is out of the toothpaste, I guess is the easiest way to say it, is the tube's out of the toothpaste. The cannabis industry isn't going anywhere. We're just fighting up against a wall right now. So, and that wall is, it's substantial, but the people want it. I mean, at the end of the day, people want it. You can see it in the next slide. Here's cannabis sales forecast over the next 4 or 5 years. I mean, we're expecting 45 to 50 million or 50 billion in cannabis sales in 2026. And the fun thing about this chart is every chart that has been done, like if you would have looked at the same chart 3 years ago, the U.S. cannabis market has surpassed what the chart said. So the U.S. cannabis market is actually killing it. But we've got things in the way. And so from a long-term perspective, it's great. And quite honestly, from an investment perspective, it's on sale right now. Everybody, again, you look at the market in the last 12 to 15 months, the whole market's depressed. Some of it was a correction. There's been a market correction to a point that's overcorrected. So now it's depressed. So now it's like literally on sale. Again, here's the forecasted wins over the next few years of when states should be legalizing. It's going to take a minute for some of the more conservative states, but that's just the way it goes. But so far so good. I think last year there was a green wave. There was 6 ballot props back a year and a half ago. All of them won. So every state, as it hits, it's just increasing the overall revenue size of the industry. So let's compare cannabis to others. Okay, so we have to remember, cannabis is a federally illegal substance. Can't sell it legally in the United States, supposedly. It's a $25 billion market last year. And that's just the actual legal market in legal states. You tack on illicit market, you can quadruple that. It's huge. You see it in certain markets with the way the regs work. The illicit market is still 2 or 3 times what the regulated market is. But you compare that to other industries, you say, gyms? Well, gyms are 36 billion, right? There's significant investments in the gym industry. It's a lucrative investment in a lot of ways. All the way up to clothing and retail, it's 368 billion. So again, the cannabis market is still in its infancy. Still infant. So these are all the reasons why cannabis is, in my opinion, is still a great investment. It's a great investment today because it's on sale, at least on the long term. Now we're going to dip into, we haven't gone into franchising yet, but we're going to dip into average unit volume of various franchise concepts versus a cannabis dispensary. So average sales average top line revenue to Subway is $410,000 a year. Pizza joint $700,000, McDonald's $1.4 million, Starbucks is just under 1.5. Average dispensary is $3 million. Okay, it's market dependent. You've got some markets where the average is 400 grand. You've got some markets that the average is 40 million, right? So this is the average. Certain markets are better than others, of course. At the end of the day, though, when you talk about averages 3 million versus an average Subway, on an average Subway at $400,000, what's the net? Does anybody know what the net on that 400 grand is? It's like 40 grand. So you're an entrepreneur, you've invested significant capital in that Subway, chances are you want more than $40,000 a year. So you're going to end up owning 3, 4, 5, 10 of them in order to get to a level to make a good living. So just an example, that's varying industries, and it's the difference between a regulated industry and basically an unregulated industry, for lack of a better term. So this is what's going on. Again, 75% of adults consume cannabis, or they're open to it in the fully legal states. So we've seen a significant shift over the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And it's not, the consumers aren't who you think. It's not the stoners. It's the stay-at-home mom. It's the dad who works too much. It's literally everybody. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if 75% of this room consumed cannabis. Just wouldn't surprise me. 10 years ago, I wouldn't have said that. But anyway, so when we just keep seeing it, right? Massachusetts, Illinois, Arizona. I mean, I can speak to Arizona pretty well because A, I live there. B, that's our market historically. The Arizona market increased about 25% in its first year of legalization. So it did well. Luckily, we outpaced the market in Arizona. We increased 260% during that time frame. So we were able to grab more market share while the market grew. But what's the big problem? There is a problem when it comes to cannabis, when it comes to retail expansion. Because again, it's a regulated industry. There's only going to be so many stores open, all those things. So I tend to go back to what I would call the most normalized market in the States, and that is Colorado, right? So Colorado, what's the tough part about Colorado? Single unit stores, they struggle. It's hard. Like the industry is tough because of all the regulation, everything. Supply chain's difficult, pricing's difficult. There's all those things that come into play. It's tough to market. But what happens is those single store operators are struggling when bigger competition comes in. So they can't compete with the economies of scale that the large MSOs bring to the table. And so the multi-state operators, they're dominating. And it's difficult to enter. It's very difficult to enter in certain markets, right? Like again, Arizona, we just did a social equity poll last week, and this is supposed to be for applicants who they have a criminal record, they fall into the poverty line, like they've been affected by the war on drugs. Out of 26 licenses given, 22 of them will be in the hands of the MSOs or larger corporate companies right now. It's done. So there's only 4 that are going to open the right way. And so again, it comes down to those MSOs, they're finding ways around these rules. So our solution is franchising, right? So I like to be I like to get people to help me out here. So real quick question, what percentage of U.S. retail sales across the board happen in franchise locations? Anybody? 35? Any other guesses? 60. Okay, you're closer. So it's like 50% of all retail sales go through franchise locations. Guess what percentage of retail businesses are franchises? What's that? 10. Yes. So 50% of the retail revenue in the US flows through 10% of the operations. Right? So it's because you get chains. You know why nobody likes McDonald's? Everybody goes to McDonald's, nobody likes McDonald's. Why do you go to McDonald's? Because you know exactly what the fries are going to taste like, you know exactly what the soda is going to taste like, you know exactly what the burger is going to be, you know what you're going to get. There's consistency, right? It's very difficult, it's more difficult to do that as a single unit operator. That's why, I mean, what percentage of small businesses go out of business in the first 2 years? It's a much higher percentage than those that are franchise locations. So again, franchising is our solution. That's how we will take our top tier products across the country and really around the world. So here's all the benefits of franchising. This is a pretty decent sample of what we bring to the table as a franchisor. We own their supply chain. We're going to tell them exactly what shelves to use, what to put on the shelves, and where everything goes. We do the real estate, we do the construction, we help them with hiring, we help them with licensing, guest experience, education and training, performance tracking, like literally everything. So that's what we give to them. We take the hard part of the business out so they can just operate their business. Ooh, it varies every day, honestly. We have essentially about 8 lines on the product side. We have about 8 to 10 different lines, varying flavors, varying, so quite honestly, right this second, we probably have 200 SKUs out on the shelves right now in Arizona. Yeah, no problem. So there's our benefits to the franchisees. So again, we talked through the various franchise opportunities in all the spaces. Again, this is how people expand. This is how people are able to stay in business when they really don't know how to be in business. They have a franchisor to tell them exactly what to do, to give them the roadmap. So we are the first vertically integrated cannabis dispensary franchise in the U.S., and that franchise is Unity Road. Touched on this a little bit, but we didn't have the map. So again, green states, those are medical use only. Orange states are fully rec. The ones with the lines, those are our immediate targets. And then we've got agreements signed in 10 right now. So we have 10 states. It's approximately 45 stores to open, and that's growing. And then we've got shops. We've got dispensary ops open in Colorado and Oklahoma as of right now, and then we have two currently developing. It's a combination. Yeah, it's a combination. Depends on the state, and that's again. Those are the tough things that make it difficult to operate a business. Is okay. I'm going to get a dispensary license. Well, this state, this county, this city, it's going to be different than 2 counties over. So, but again, Unity Roads, it's the vehicle to expansion. Again, we talk about franchises like, hey, here's how this is how we help the franchisees. Well, this is how the franchisees help us, is we control the supply chain, right? So when we say money's in the products, we're moving the products into those stores. So again, we help them make money, they help us make money. Again, we've been one of the top cannabis brands in Arizona for a few years. But like I said, in a market that expanded about 25%, we expanded 260%. And so there's a small sample of some of some of the products that we do. This guy up here, he's a wizard. That is pure THCA. Pure THCA. That up top, that's our live resin device, and it's amazing. Currently tripling the size of our facility in Arizona, to increase revenue, but more importantly, it's to decrease our cost and reliance on third-party material. Nevada facility, we're literally waiting on a generator to drop, so we can file for ATO there. So we're doing over $2 million a month right now in our 20,000 square feet in Arizona. Again, blending a premium experiential brand with the Unity Road storefront. So again, bring that some commonplace across the industry, because it's just not there yet. When I say we're different, we're different. Every other cannabis company out there, they have one way to make money. This is 9. This is the 9 ways we make money with franchising. Franchise fee, launch fee, marketing fee up front, recurring, royalty, marketing, technology. We own the shelf space. We're gonna get slotting fees, and we could do some financing revenue. There's 5 other ways we could make money on it at a later stage. Our team's great. Again, when I say a couple hundred years of experience in franchising and legal cannabis, it's significantly more than that. Our franchise team is great. They've built a few franchise concepts previously. We've won cannabis licenses in 17 states for our customers, and we're currently have some level of operations in 10 states, and our team has operated in 11 different states. So what we're doing, we're going to expand 20,000 square feet to 85 in Arizona, keep opening franchise locations, open a few corporate locations, and then we'll distribute our premium products to those new locations. Hopefully, regulatory approvals keep moving. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But, we do see a significant, our pipeline is continually growing. We're excited about that. We'll continue to see shops open. COVID kind of put a slowdown on some things. And then, and again, remind you that one thing that we've done historically is we've executed. So again, we doubled revenue. Then the next year we increased 260%. And quick reminder, we've got our Reg A open right now. And my apologies, I really didn't leave any time for Q&A. So I'll be outside if anybody has questions after. And there's some contact info. And I've got my cards here. So like I said, we can definitely step outside and continue. But I've got 24 seconds for a question if anybody has one. Not yet. The open stores have online, but there's no delivery for that particular store yet. So if anything else, guys, I really appreciate you being here today. Hopefully it was informative and you guys enjoyed it.